Canada feels different today. There's a heaviness in the air, a sense that something fundamental has shifted beneath the surface of daily life. A quiet tension stretches from Newfoundland to British Columbia, a sense of unease, as if a family argument has gone too far. Conversations are hushed, and uncertainty lingers in every corner of the country. The federal government in Ottawa has officially rejected the final appeal for the Independence Pipeline project. The decision, years in the making, lands with the weight of history. For some, it was hope. For others, environmental risk. Now its rejection has become a flashpoint, igniting a crisis that pits province against federation. The pipeline debate has become a symbol of deeper divisions. In Alberta, anger and betrayal simmer. Many feel ignored and economically strangled by their own country. The sense of abandonment is palpable, fueling protests and heated debates in homes and workplaces. In cities like Vancouver and Montreal, there's relief, a victory for the environment and climate commitments. For these communities, the decision is a sign that Canada is finally taking bold action on climate change. Headlines tell the story of two Canadas. One mourning economic disaster, the other celebrating a green future. The media amplifies the divide, with stories of lost jobs and new hope running side by side. The Prime Minister's call for unity rings hollow in Alberta, where the Premier's fiery speech speaks of defiance and a province pushed to its limit. Political leaders are now forced to navigate a landscape more fractured than ever. The stage is set for a confrontation that feels bigger than a single project. The pipeline's fate has become a rallying cry for both sides, drawing lines that may be hard to erase. The pipeline's rejection has touched a raw nerve in Canadian identity, forcing citizens to ask, can a nation this divided find a way to stay together? The question echoes from coast to coast, in city apartments and rural kitchens alike. The silence after the announcement is heavy with questions, and the answers remain unclear. As night falls, Canadians everywhere are left to wonder what comes next for their country and for themselves. At the heart of this crisis are two visions for Canada's future. For Alberta, the Independence Pipeline was a lifeline, unlocking economic potential, jobs, and global markets. The province believes it has a constitutional right to develop its resources, and Ottawa's rejection is seen as federal overreach. Ottawa, meanwhile, has staked its reputation on climate action, arguing that approving a new pipeline would undermine emissions targets and global credibility. The federal government frames the rejection as a necessary decision for the country's long-term environmental health. Alberta sees a betrayal, Ottawa sees responsible leadership. Both claim constitutional authority, but neither side is willing to back down. The result, a nation at an impasse, with the pipeline as its battleground. This standoff is rooted in Canada's history and constitution. Provinces control their resources, but Ottawa governs projects crossing borders, like pipelines. This built-in tension has never been fully resolved. The 1980s National Energy Program left a legacy of bitterness in Alberta, fueling today's sense of betrayal. For many, Ottawa's pipeline rejection feels like history repeating itself. Rules change when the West prospers. Every energy debate is filtered through old wounds, making compromise elusive. Alberta points to resource rights, Ottawa to national responsibilities. Without cooperation, this legal grey area becomes a political battlefield. The pipeline crisis is just the latest chapter in a long struggle over power and identity. In Alberta, the pipeline's rejection isn't just a policy decision, it's a personal blow, a deep sense of betrayal by the rest of Canada. For many Albertans, it feels as though their hard work and sacrifices have been dismissed by the very country they helped build. The economic pain is real and visible. Years of job losses have already taken their toll, and now, with the pipeline's rejection, it's as if a door has been slammed shut on any hope for future prosperity. Families worry about their livelihoods and entire communities face an uncertain future. Albertans point to decades of contributions through equalization payments, feeling used, ignored, and unfairly treated. They remember how their province's wealth has supported the rest of the country, yet now their own needs seem to be overlooked. The sense of unfairness only deepens when Ottawa appears willing to import foreign oil while blocking Alberta's own resources. This contradiction stings, fueling frustration and a sense of being singled out. Trust between Alberta and Ottawa has broken down, replaced by anger, resentment, and a growing divide. Political disputes have become personal, and many feel their voices are no longer heard in the nation's capital. For many, it's about respect, their expertise, their way of life, and their vital role in building Canada are too often dismissed or forgotten. The pride in their work and heritage runs deep. The rejection has united Albertans across backgrounds, fueling a powerful desire to take matters into their own hands. There's a renewed sense of solidarity as people come together to defend their future. The wound is economic, but the pain runs deeper. It's about pride, identity, and the feeling of being left behind by the rest of Canada. Ottawa sees the pipeline rejection as a painful but necessary act of leadership. Climate commitments and international accords demand a sharp reduction in emissions. The government believes its duty is to future generations, balancing regional interests with national and global responsibilities. Environmental groups, Indigenous communities, and several provinces oppose the project, citing risks to land and climate. Ottawa's legal authority is clear. It governs interprovincial infrastructure and environmental protection. The decision is costly at home but seen as an investment in a sustainable future. For Ottawa, true unity means a shared vision, even if it means making tough, unpopular choices. The fallout has been immediate and deeply disruptive, touching nearly every aspect of daily life in Alberta. Streets that once bustled with activity now stand eerily quiet, and the sense of uncertainty is palpable. Protests erupt across Alberta. Truck convoys, families and workers all demanding to be heard. The anger and frustration are visible as people from all walks of life unite in the streets calling for change and recognition. The economic impact is swift and severe. Investment chills, the Canadian dollar dips, and layoffs loom large. Businesses shutter their doors, and workers face an uncertain future, unsure of when or if things will improve. Economists warn Alberta's downturn could ripple across the country, threatening vital social programs and putting additional strain on families already struggling to make ends meet. Political fractures deepen. The relationship between Ottawa and Alberta's premier is openly hostile, with both sides trading accusations and refusing to back down. Other provinces are forced to take sides, straining the federation and making national cooperation more difficult than ever before. The dream of unity feels distant as regional battle lines harden and communities become more divided over the future of the country. Most alarming, talk of Western separation, once considered fringe, now enters mainstream debate, with more people openly discussing the possibility of breaking away. Polls show rising support for Alberta independence, a major alarm bell for those who value a united Canada and a sign of deepening discontent. The pipeline decision has become a powerful symbol of alienation, pushing many to question their place in Canada and whether their voices truly matter. The threat to national unity is real and growing, casting a long shadow over the country's future and leaving many to wonder what comes next. The pipeline debate forces Canadians to weigh economic prosperity against environmental protection. Supporters cite jobs, billions in revenue, and access to global markets as vital for Alberta and Canada. They argue it's about maximizing value from resources while they're still in demand. Opponents focus on climate change. Oil sands are carbon intensive, and a new pipeline locks in decades of emissions. They urge investment in renewables and green jobs instead of fossil fuel infrastructure. Environmental risks are real. Spills could devastate rivers, wildlife, and indigenous lands. For many, no economic benefit justifies risking Canada's natural heritage. The debate is not just about a pipeline, but about the country's future direction. The choice: short-term gain or long-term sustainability. Alberta's government responds with unprecedented defiance. The Premier invokes the Alberta Sovereignty within a United Canada Act, threatening to ignore federal laws deemed harmful. She demands Ottawa reverse its decision or offer massive compensation and transition funding. If refused, Alberta may direct agencies to ignore federal regulations or collect federal taxes itself. Legal experts warn this could trigger a constitutional crisis and paralyze investment. The Prime Minister calls the act illegal and refuses to negotiate. For many Albertans, it's a last resort, a fight for their economic future. The showdown is more than legal. It's a battle for the province's soul. The pipeline crisis has pushed Canada to a crossroads. One path, a protracted legal and political war, deepening divisions and making cooperation impossible. Another, a return to negotiation with compromise and investment in Alberta's economic transition. Provinces are split. Some support Ottawa, others side with Alberta, and many are caught in the middle. Building national consensus is harder than ever. The crisis tests Canadian leadership and the resilience of its democracy. It demands more than angry speeches. It demands empathy and statesmanship. Canadians are watching, worried about jobs, the environment, and the nation's future. The choice: confrontation and division, or compromise and a new united Canada.